I've got 8 random questions here, and then you just pick 3 numbers. 1 through 8, what's your first number?
5.
You got a big meaty acting question to start. This is one of my personal favorite questions. It's called favorite, least favorite. I wanna know your single favorite part of the acting process. Things like meeting your co-stars, putting a costume on for the first time, but then not necessarily your least favorite, but just a part of the process where you still see room to grow for yourself and you're excited to tackle it.
Favorite. I think the most exciting part is meeting everybody for the first time, getting on the same page. I always look forward to it. Like last year, this time, maybe like in 2 weeks, last year we all got together. Sid, Paul, Laura, his producing partner, Brandon, our camera operator, our crew, like heads of department, we all came together in New Jersey and just, I don't know, it was meeting of the minds, it was costumes, it was camera tests, and it was really exciting. It was so fun to get to know these people and to know that we were gonna be making this incredible story together. I love that. I love the pre-production, I love the rehearsal, I love that kind of stuff. And then my least favorite, or one of the parts that I would love to be better at is really, 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 really long, drawn out group settings, like a dinner table scene, because no matter how good the dialogue is, it gets old pretty fast. And you can't keep feeding yourself green beans. So it's always tricky because I always want to eat a lot at the beginning, and then of course I get full. So.
That's making me want to ask a follow-up question.
Go ahead.
What's your favorite movie meal you've ever had? Like an on-camera meal where you're like, this is just so good. I don't care if we do a bajillion takes, I'm gonna keep eating this food.
It was recent, and it was mashed potatoes and gravy and chicken. And I don't know how it was made, but it was made well. And I don't know, I felt like I could keep going for it, and I did. And we didn't do too many takes. It was a tiny movie, but oh God. And then cereal, I used to eat a lot of cereal and Big Love, and that's tricky to slow down. And then pizza, God, yeah.
I've got a food question in the mix here. I feel like if you don't pick it, I'm gonna probably give it to you at the end.
Okay, so yes.
You picked number 5, what's your next number?
7.
7. This is an interesting one. It's film franchise, and admittedly I put this on the list specifically for you because I was reading your quotes about sequels, so I am curious your take on this. If you could join the film franchise of your choice, what franchise would you pick, and why would you choose that one specifically?
That's a good question. Let's see. Oh God, give me some franchises.
There's like the biggies, like DC, Marvel, Star Wars, but like I'm really inspired by something that was created originally, like right now, because there's a new Knives Out movie. That film franchise is proving to be one of my favorites out there.
Remember those Eddie Murphy movies?
For some reason, the first thing that just came to mind was the Nutty Professor series.
Yeah.
Ah.
I would love to be a part of the Nutty Professor.
I will happily take that.
Thank you for reminding me. Grew up on them. Funny. I also really liked the Naked Gun movies. When I saw that they were making a new one, I was incredibly surprised and a little bit sad to know that I hadn't been considered for it. Because oh God, I loved those movies. 33 and the Third. Oh, I just grew up on that. It's so funny.
We speak what we want into existence on Collider Ladies Night, so if you want to be in the next Naked Gun, you say it, it's gonna happen.
I would love to be in the next installment of Naked Gun.
Okay, I'm gonna take that. And then we'll do your next Ladies Night for that particular film.
So funny. Okay.
All right, you got one more to pick here. What's your last number?
Thor?
You picked the food question. That makes me happy. This was inspired by The Housemaid because there's a couple good sandwich moments in this film. I need to know, what is your perfect sandwich?
My perfect sandwich is really good soft sourdough bread with turkey, a lot of natural, organic roast turkey with relish and mayonnaise and like a tiny sliver of provolone and then some like just big chunky butter lettuce.
I'm sold. I'm gonna go.
But they gave me a sandwich today. Somebody came in and gave us sandwiches in honor of the movie, and the sandwich was a bologna sandwich, and I haven't had bologna in like 20 years. And so I get really kind of weird with red meat because I'm always afraid that it's gonna make me sick in some way because I don't eat it very often. But I ate the entire thing. Sans a few pieces of thick bread because the bread wasn't that good. And it was absolutely to die for.
Listen, I get it. I'm not gonna lie. I walked out of this movie kind of craving a traditional old school bologna sandwich.
I once had to, in Jennifer's Body, Needy fries a bologna sandwich with her ferret. And do you know how much Spam I ate? So much. I could not get enough. I was like, who does this? Oh, I get it.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back for a new edition of Collider Ladies Night. I'm very excited for this one. Amanda Seyfried's on the show. Huge congratulations.
Thanks.
On
Thank you.
Everything. Housemaid is something else.
Yeah.
Testament of Anne Lee.
Couldn't be more different.
Whew.
But
That's
both are, I'm proud of.
Truly one of the coolest things ever in this industry is to see one artist do two things at the same time that are so wildly different.
It's definitely a coincidence that they came out in the same week, that they will be coming out in the same week. But because they're so different. I think it's a good way to show my range, which is always nice. You know, I feel like I have anything to prove, really? No, but sometimes it feels good to remind people that, like, you know, I can do both. I love doing both.
What is the movie you watched, the performance you saw, personal experience you had, whatever it may be that first made you stop and say to yourself, I absolutely have to be an actor?
Claire Danes and Romeo and Juliet.
Yes. I have heard that one before, and I approve of that answer.
It's just I was 10, and she's just, you know, goes on instincts and created such a beautiful young woman in love. I just wanted to be in love. I wanted to feel everything she was feeling. I was just completely drawn to it in a kind of obsessive way. The fish tank, everything about it. Oh, she's so beautiful, and she's such a good actress. And they were wonderful together. It was so raw, felt so real, in such an unreal kind of spectacular world that Baz Luhrmann is so good at creating, and made this little lady fall in love with the whole industry.
So that was the spark. Then the next step is recognizing that you want to turn it into a profession and figuring out how to do it. I love asking this question. When you first decided you wanted to become a professional actor, at that point, what did you think was step one to making that dream a reality? And now, all these years later, would you recommend that first step to another aspiring actor out there?
I would recommend it. I would. I auditioned for Annie on Broadway, and it was an open call because, you know what? If you don't have an agent or means to get through to the final callback, you have to start like everybody else does. And I did that a lot. And I auditioned in Philadelphia, the Mall. And it was incredibly exciting. And oh God, I lost my nerve and I didn't perform as well as I'd wanted to, but I just wanted to be Annie. And then I kept auditioning. I got an agent in a modeling agency in the city when I was 11. And then I did a bunch of modeling, and that led to audition calls. And I failed so many. But it makes you stronger. And, you know, my mom was so supportive. She would take me to the city a couple times a week. And you gotta do the elbow grease. You gotta use it. You gotta, unfortunately, you know, you can't start in the middle.
I'll ask you one of my favorite audition questions. Can you give me an early audition high, something that made you stop and go like I can do this, I deserve to be here, but then also I want to know an audition low and something you learned from it that helped you in future auditions?
Oh God. An audition low is always when you go in, because maybe there are too many auditions and you can't remember all the lines for every single audition, but especially pilot season. But I auditioned for, I'll tell you the good one. I auditioned for Big Love, and it was between another girl and myself, and it was in this weird screening room at HBO. And I was so nervous, but I kind of so I desperately wanted to prove that I truly was me. This was me. This was my character. And I realized that I just needed to keep doing what I was doing. Just ground it. She's like me, so just ground it. It's all I need to be doing. I just need to be honest. And I just felt so high after that. And I did get it. Oh, I felt so high. It was so, to be seen. To feel like you've done a good job too. In the moment you needed to do a good job, because we always sabotage ourselves too on bad days and on good days. And then the other one was just, I was auditioning to play a character that I'd already played on the show. I was 15, 16. And I just couldn't. I was so scared. I could barely get the words out.
Oy.
It's horrible. There are too many people staring, and you're a teenager and you're just like, I want to go home and play tennis.
Ooh.
I don't want to do this.
I have so many follow-up questions. You bringing that last part up and talking about being a teenager is reminding me of your soap opera stories. And there was a specific question I had thought of that I wanted to know from that stage, because I know that didn't go so well. And I think that makes me especially curious about who you had in your corner at that point, because like, a much smaller scale, I know how I used to react to rejection at that age with like the tiniest thing. And if I didn't have the right friends and my family behind me, like I think I would have gotten swallowed up by that and never have been able to forge forward. But clearly you did quite well. I
think it's because my mom truly believed that it was a passion. And she didn't ever belittle it because I was rejected. She was like, I know it's important to you and I get it. And you know what? When one door closes, another door opens. And it's just the truth, and you're going to have to trust me. And I think I remember sitting at my desk in my room, and she had finally got the call that it wasn't going to go my way. And again, I had played this role already. They just wanted to find the contract version. And I ended up being friends with the girl who did it years later.
I feel like I remember you bringing that up.
Yeah, it was so weird. And, I adore her. She's wonderful.
Yes.
But I was just sitting there, and then she's like, hey, babe, I'm going to tell you something. And she said the one door closes, one door opens thing. And I, of course, wept. I melted, and I felt like something had been taken away from me. And it was devastating. I was 15. It was devastating. And the fact that they covered it up as if it was like a new character, it was actually just Lucy Montgomery. But, I didn't do so well the first time, so they wanted to re-audition me. But yeah, it's interesting though, because my mom was always in my corner. My family was. It was just, my sister was kind of like, sure, you want to do that thing? Okay, good for you. But my mom believed in my interest.
It's a beautiful thing to have. See if I can remember all of my follow-up questions from that other answer.
Sorry.
You brought up, no, it's a good thing. I love that. You brought up Big Love, and I had jotted down something from one of our last long-form conversations. It was when we were still doing Collider Connected, and you very heavily emphasized how supportive your Big Love family was and just how much you specifically valued having veteran actors supporting you when you were first starting your journey somewhat in this industry. So I wanted to give you a two-part question about that. Can you give me a specific example of a veteran actor who made you feel seen and like you belonged in this business? And then I also want to know maybe a time that you kind of paid it forward, a time when you met a newer actor and wanted to lift them up as much as you could.
Jeanne Tripplehorn, and Bill Paxton, I felt like a daughter. I felt like they believed in me as much as my mom and dad did. I feel like they taught me so much, and they, Bill was sometimes hard on me when he was directing in a way that I will never not appreciate. So much support, and it's crazy. Jeanne, they were family, and the guy who's my brother on that show is still one of my closest friends, and when you grow up on slightly grow up. I was 18 when I started that show. You really you're imprinted. They imprint on you, and yeah, it was so amazing. What was the other question?
A time that you paid it forward and basically offered
God.
that kind of support to someone else.
Anyone who's younger. You know, I feel very protective of Sydney because I'm at a point in my life where I've just turned 40, which is crazy to me, but also I have the knowledge and the experience of a 40-year-old who's been in this industry for 25 years. And I'm very, very confident that if she were to come to me, that I would have a good answer. And I know that she trusts me. And it's the second I met her, I was like, I'll do anything for you. Because I also know that in the early days, like I did clash with some older women, older actresses, and that really surprised. Just was incredibly disappointing and hurtful. And B, just felt like confusing because I was so young and I'm not a threat. So what else? What could it be? You know, and not often, but enough. And I never want to be that for somebody. I think we're better together. Mm-hmm. If I can, I'll share anything, any moment. I'm an open fucking book for people if they want to know. And I'm the first person who will be in someone's corner, especially if they're like, what do I do? And I love that. I love being able to give advice.
Ooh, I love that's a beautiful quality to have and a beautiful way to navigate this industry, because the more people like that we have in this business, the better off we're going to be.
Or it's all compassion breeds safety, breeds invention, creativity, freedom to express yourself. Like it all starts with kindness and compassion, because otherwise you really just close up. We all just close up like dried up flowers. Actually, they don't close up. They open. But it's like you know what I mean? Dried up dead flowers. And we don't want to be that.
No, who wants to be
We need to be watered.
Flower?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right, the third it was because at one point you had mentioned the idea of being seen. I have two questions I love to ask that kind of lean into that. Of all of your earliest projects, film or television, do you remember the first one that I guess made you feel seen in this industry the way that you wanted? One that kind of stopped and made you go like, I am really proud of this, and this is what I want everyone out there to know that I'm capable of.
Chloe.
I think that was the first time we ever spoke.
Yeah, that was
2008? 9?
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
Something one of us just said was right.
Yeah. It was Chloe because I had this incredible director who people were like, oh my God, he's like a avant-garde. Just he's so good at the psychological, and everybody was telling me how wonderful he was. I was like, that sounds great. And Julianne Moore and Liam Neeson and I don't know how I got cast. I really truly don't remember. But I was on set with these pros, being asked to do things that I was very, very afraid, but also curious to do, you know, very committed to it. I understood the story and I understand what was needed of me, and I understood why it was needed from me. And I felt like an adult, really. It was a turning point for me, and I don't know, just hanging out with adults, it's really can make you want to listen more and use everything they say as a guideline in some way, because they were doing it right. You know, they had their kids and their careers, and they were wonderful to me. And Adam just respected me and made me feel like a real actor. But it's deliberate. You have to choose things that scare the shit out of you. If it appeals to you too, you know? And I had never been asked to play a role like that, and that opened things up for me in a way. I thought the industry was kind of, the perspective had shifted a little bit, and I had kind of taken some of my power back.
I feel like if someone just watched my camera of this interview, like you'd see like light bulb, light bulb, light bulb. I have so many follow-up questions. because you just brought up the need to be fearless. And I think that is true of so much of your work that I've seen. It's something about you that I admire, and it's definitely true in these 2 new films now. Can you name a past scene that maybe really scared you, but you wound up doing it and crushing it, and now can kind of look back on that moment and say to yourself, like, if I could do that, I could do anything?
Oh, God. You're going to think this is so funny. Ooh. Or not, or just so boring. But, you know, it's all physical stuff. I mean, the emotional stuff really is hard. Like, I had a scene with Ashley Cummings, the great Ashley Cummings. And it's the last scene of the entire series of Long Bright River. And it's, so you've got that, like, pressure on your shoulders. And we have to be emotional, but calm and, like, maybe lose it. But it had to be so delicately played, because you had to feel that there was a certainty with these women that they were never going to return to the past. And it was just so many things at once. And just being an ender of a series, you're like, please, God, just get it over. It was also 100 degrees. It was 100 degrees. We lost one of our actors, not to death, but he needed to go in a cooling van because he was about to faint. That was hard physically. But I also want to say, like, there's a scene in a movie I did with Kevin Bacon where we're supposed to be in LA, but we're actually in London. And it's 45 degrees and the pool is maybe 70 degrees. Now, a good pool is 89. That's when you want to swim, but that's on a warm day. 87 works. 85 is pretty cold. 80 is freezing. 70, and I had to swim laps, and I thought I was going to die. And when I was done with that scene, I was like, I'm invincible.
Yeah.
It's always that stupid water stuff.
Yeah.
I hate water.
I feel like it's always the little things, too, that you don't think about. It's not like it's less so the meaty material and more so the little thing that you weren't prepared for about, like, the circumstances of the scene or the environment that you're in that sneaks up on you.
It's like that moment when you're on set and you're like, you think it's done and they come back, we're going to do it again? I can't. I'll literally say I can't, and I'll do it, but I'll be like, I have to make it clear that I am done, and then whatever you get is a bonus. Because if I can't, I really mean it. Like, I can't. And they're like, okay, but we just need one more. I'm like, okay, but I can't. Okay, let's roll.
Meanwhile, you made Mank, and God knows how many takes you had to do on that movie.
But I looked at it differently. I had a different type of preparation for that. We had a lot of rehearsal time. And I had a lot of fear with that movie. I needed to know my lines in a way that I had never needed to know my lines, ever. And so I was prepared. It's a different type of movie. It's a different type of acting for me. Yeah, it's just different. It's just different. You don't go by instincts as much at that point. You go by just, I don't know what it's called. It is a muscle memory thing. It's a cadence thing. It's very interesting. Oh my God, it was so hard.
Ooh, I have follow-up questions to that. One specific Mank question that I did want to ask, because it's award season now, and I love awards, and I love how earning nominations makes people feel.
Yeah.
So when you got that Academy Award nomination, how did it make you feel at the time? And is there anything surprising about, I guess, the lingering effect of getting that kind of recognition? Something about it that, I guess, just simply put, means something to you now that surprises you?
I think, I felt, oh my God, are you kidding? Oh, it's so nice. It's so great. And winning the Emmy too, I was like, it's so, it's so wonderful. Like, I can't even describe it, because it's not just the work you did. It's the work it took to get it. Mm-hmm. So it's campaign season it's a lot of shaking hands and meeting people. Most of these people that you're meeting are artists, and there's always someone to connect to. I'm a very social person, so it does come much easier to me than a lot of people. However, it takes you away from your family in a way that you normally, when you're away, it's because you're working on a film. all of it is privilege, but it was wonderful. I did have COVID for the first time ever, and I was in quarantine, and I had to like pump my milk, and then like in a Tyvek suit go up the stairs and leave the milk with my little gloves on, and go back downstairs and wash them out. That was awful. But getting the Oscar nomination that morning was absolutely just ridiculously exciting, and being in a campaign again for something that I'm even more proud of. I really, I know that nomination means better business. I know it means better opportunities, because Mona didn't have to come to me with Ann Lee. She could have gone to my peers, and you know who they are, and I respect them, and I love them, and I love their work. I don't even need to name them. You know who these people are. We grew up together, but I'm always somewhere on the list, at least, knock on wood. I just want to be on the list. But the higher up you get on the list, the better opportunities you get handed to you. And that's how it is in every industry. That's just the way it is.
I appreciate you teeing up the Testament of Ann Lee, because I'm going to dig into that
Testament
now.
of Ann Lee.
So truly like incredible, floored by your work in that movie.
Thanks.
I want to go back to the idea of signing on, because I was reading an interview Mona had done, and at one point she said something to the effect that when she was trying to make the movie happen, it was hard because there was zero interest in a not quite musical, not quite biopic about an obscure 18th century religious leader. So when she came to you with that role, what did you see in her and also the material that made you know to your core, like, we're gonna make this and it's gonna speak to people?
When it comes to her art and her storytelling, she's got the biggest set of balls of anyone I really have ever met, especially a woman in this business. She's so committed, and even before I understood how passionate she was about telling Ann Lee's story, I mean, we'd worked together and we'd known each other for years, but I think the things she's willing to sacrifice, the things she's willing to do, the people, the power she like harnesses in just her existence is it's very intoxicating, and it's really easy to trust that she's going to get what she wants, even if at first I didn't really think that it was going to be the right role for me, because it felt like I felt so far away from an 18th century religious leader who was born in Manchester. But I read the script and she just talked about Ann Lee in this incredible way, and she's like a little fairy. She's so delicate and so thoughtful and considerate in how she speaks, and she's Scandinavian, and she's got this beautiful accent, so it does help. But her ideas are very refined and very clear, and there was really no room to say no to something so out there, but it's so important.
Yes.
And very, very under threat of complete erasure from American history, which is sadly unsurprising.
Because you just said when you first considered the role, you didn't really know if it was the right fit for you. Do you remember the very first thing you did, either in prep or on set, that made you stop and go like, yes, this is right. I am her and I get how to play her?
It was on set for sure. It wasn't any time before that. I got close when I was learning the dances with Celia Ralston Hall, our incredible choreographer. First of all, our department
heads, those dances.
They're insane. Like, they don't. Celia moves differently than any other human being. Daniel Bloomberg, the composer, sings and creates music with a completely different rhythm than I've ever experienced. They are one of a kind. They need to teach people these things. So their legacy can live on. I was working with Celia upstate, because she also lives sort of near me. And when I was learning Hunger and Thirst, I hate dancing, I hate moving. I can't remember the moves. I would rather just dance with a disco ball, freely. But it's like all the moves for Hunger and Thirst. I because I was connecting to Ann Lee in this physical way, based on drawings that we had from their formations, based on everything that Celia learned about this woman, this is how she decided to express through movement. And that helped. But it wasn't until like even rehearsal in Budapest, I was like, oh, I can't believe we're shooting soon. It's like so hard. This Manchester accent, I don't got it. I'd worked like a year on that. And I got on set, and it wasn't even the first, maybe it was the end of the first week. Oh, so I get exhausted thinking about it. I think it was the end of the first week, because I remember laying in the fainting couch when I'd gotten home from prison, and I'd already had the visions and the idea of celibacy, and I'm laying there, and I'm like white, covered in sweat, and everybody's around me like, yes, mother, you are my mother, you are also my sister. I can't do it anymore, but it's just having all these eyes on me, and they're looking to me to know how to play Ann Lee. So I felt like, oh my God, this is all I need to do. I just need to keep them listening. I just need to keep them committed. And like, we're not that different, you know? So I paralleled like being the leader of the cast on set and Mona being the leader. And so Mona and I created this utopia on set, and our work days, transitioned into after work hangs, and, you know, the weekends were blurred together with natural wine drinking and big dinners and all that because I found my power, and I'm like, I don't need to lead a religious movement, but I can make them trust me that I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be the leader of us, at least. And it was like, okay, but it was hard. It was so amazing though. I think about Scott Handy and his like, okay, mother, and I'm just like, these actors they're so engaged that I have to believe in myself. Oh. Or what is the point? It was so cool. Oh, and there's like, beautiful. It's all comedy too. That scene is so comedic. None of us tried to be. It's just people so true in their devotion and commitment. They're like, you saw the devil. Okay. And the devil said, okay. And it's absurd, but that is what happened. Based on research.
Oh. There's something else. I love the way you describe that vibe too. Like
Thanks, I know.
A really beautiful way for life outside of the making of the movie to imitate the art. It's a nice quality to have.
I'm always learning something.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So digging into making like a drastic shift, and this is a good shift again, because I think having two things come out back to back that are so wildly different is a major accomplishment in this industry.
Sydney and I have been sitting here for days together talking about The Housemaid. And we both had the same experience. She transformed into Christy Martin. And like, she's an actress. She was a chameleon, and she did it. And she loved every second of it. And then we did The Housemaid, and our characters are very drastically different than these other movies. And it's a funny thing to share because it's so rare. And the fact that we're both in the same position, talking about things back to back that we just bled for, and just thoroughly enjoyed. Ooh. It's great. It's really empowering. Also, it's just like women-led movies, you know, talking about like powerful women who kind of, had to step outside of their comfort zones to save their own lives or save other people. And it's just, it's good storytelling. And then to have The Housemaid, it's just like, there's some dark shit happening, and you have to honor that. But you also, to give people that catharsis at the end, to make it a little bit funny, to just to make it an experience is still important. And I'm like, so I can't believe The Housemaid is like so as good as it is.
An experience.
It's
That's
a real
great
experience.
way to describe it.
It's like another level movie.
The theater that I was in the other night, everyone was losing their minds. Good communal experience.
Experience.
Important.
Important and very rarely experienced. Very rarely had. And I am so incredibly proud that we made it, and we get to show people and give them that experience. I mean, also the holidays are stressful.
Yeah.
They're stressful, and we loved going to the movies on the holiday.
Yeah. Could not agree more with
I can't
that.
go with my kids though to see certain things that I really want to see.
Well, that is also understandable.
So
I always tell my sister, as much as I want to recommend movies for her and her kids, don't ever ask me. I don't want to take responsibility for that.
It's true. Sometimes you forget what's in it, you know?
I often do.
You're like, oh,
And I often don't know where to draw the line. Because I had no line drawn for me as a child.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
It
turned out fine, though.
My daughter's friends are seeing movies, and I'm like, you saw what? Taxi Driver?
Oh, no.
What? Full Metal Jacket? Really? No, I'm kidding.
I mean,
I saw Full Metal Jacket when I was like 8.
yeah.
I didn't mean to.
I was watching Silence of the Lambs as like a teeny tiny child. It was a little
you
bit of a
sleep?
problem. I loved the feeling of like being a tiny child and like feeling a little scared to go to bed at night.
You loved it?
And I still like it as an adult.
Do you watch the first 48 before you go to bed now? That's as dark as it gets.
No, I definitely do not.
I used to do that.
I do have a lot of horror things in my apartment though, so when I wake up in the middle of the night to like get a drink, I kind of like when like a Pennywise is creeping out from behind.
Oh, you like that? Huh.
I like adrenaline
Amazing.
of all sorts.
And then can you go back to bed?
Kind of.
Amazing.
Before people judge me too much, back to what you were saying with Sydney and the similarities between the two of you, because I wanted to add one more piece to that puzzle. So you have a similar journey with going from one project to an entirely different one. You two are like female forces in this industry headlining this movie, but you're also both executive producers on the film. So I have 2 questions about that. When you signed on, what was it about being a lead actor and an executive producer that felt like the right pairing? And does the set have a different vibe when the 2 leads are also involved in a producerial capacity like that?
Yes, the set does have a different vibe when the actors are producers for sure. We have a little more say. We have a hand on the table, and it feels more collaborative than it ever has. I will also say that I didn't realize I was an executive producer until like a week or 2 into filming when I looked at the call sheet and I'm like, oh. And I got to work and I said to Todd Lieberman, our producer, and I was like, Todd, why is my name up there as executive producer? And he's like, because that's in your deal. So sometimes you're just an executive producer because it's in your deal.
I was reading about that.
That's a very trendy thing to do now. I don't really know if it's my vibe because I don't need to produce something unless I'm developing it, unless I am producing it. But I don't need that vanity card. I don't have it on Ann Lee. I definitely could have asked for it because I don't know, but I didn't for Tim Blake Nelson's movie. Oh, best director.
Oh, I'm so excited for that.
Oh God. Oh.
Just wrapped that, right? Did I make that up?
May.
But was it May yesterday?
Yes, it was.
Feels
no
like
summer
it.
happened. But it's just one of those things. Like if you champion a movie and you get it made, you're totally a producer, and I've done that. But it's not really my thing. It's just there's just too much going on.
I get that, and I appreciate you pointing out the reality of that situation in some cases, at least. When you tackle a role like this, where trying so hard to ask this question without spoiling anything for anyone who has not read the book.
It's hard.
It is a hard thing to talk about. I mean, actually, I'll lift the spoiler warning for one question just so you could talk about this freely. When you are playing a character who has to turn on a dime, do you have to find, I guess, an anchor of sorts, something that no matter what mode she's in, something is always based in a consistent truth so that she feels cohesive?
Well, we didn't want cohesive in the first part of the movie.
Yeah.
Because Sydney's character needed to feel incredibly unsafe and unstable in that household while still managing this tiny hope that the compassion that came through every once in a while was real. And there were enough crumbs from other people to make Millie kind of feel bad for Nina. And it was so very tediously designed, I think, to make sure that every time you think, Millie, get the hell out of there. Like, what are you doing? She's so mean. And then for her to be like, oh, I feel bad for her. I kind of just need to help out. She needed to get smacked back and forth And so it needed to not feel that cohesive. Because it was all we're gonna get all the answers later on. And that's never the case in any other movie. Which is why this landed with me so dramatically. I'm like, I gotta, this is a feast for me.
You stick that landing really well. It's
Thanks.
not easy to swing for the fences for like pretty much the majority of the movie and then reveal that kind of truth at the end and have me believe every ounce of it.
It's definitely, earning that from the audience is really hard. But I also think Paul Feig is a magician. I mean, he's a magician. But he's also, oh my God, I don't know how he is able to keep everything alive. Keep all the balls in the air, and break open every single character just a little bit, so our curiosity gets a little bit satisfied, but not satisfied enough. So we stick around. He's the master, and I was just talking to him about commentary because I know so much about what went into the pre-production, the making of it, but I don't know I don't know what the decisions that he had to make in the edit, which lasts way longer than any production for a movie this size. And I'm just so curious to know like what he left in, what he took out, when they added certain scenes in the script, before I signed on. It would just be it's interesting. I learn something new every day when I'm with him now.
Hopefully some people ask those questions in these interviews and then you can hear some of it.
Yeah,
through
that's true. I mean, it is really, I'm so happy. It's such a good experience for people. So happy.
I've been given the rap sign. Makes me sad, but I'm also happy because that means we get to ask the question we end every ladies' night on, and it's also one of my favorite questions ever. Some people don't like it though, but I think the reason why they don't like it is why I ask it. So in this industry, we give each other awards. I think that is wonderful. I think we should keep on doing that. I find that no one stops to tell themselves how proud of their work they are though. So I'll open this up to either Testament of Ann Lee or Housemaid. Can you tell me something specific you accomplished in either movie that you know you're always gonna be able to look back on and say, you know what, I'm really proud of what I did there?
I'm going to say The Housemaid because I can't pinpoint a moment. I'm just going to say that when I watched it, I was giddy and I laughed hysterically at moments that surprised me that I had been present for, because I was portrayed as Nina, that choices that I had made and that Paul had made, like cut around. The dance that happened between Paul and me on the screen was just so it made me giddy. I don't know what does that mean. It made me giddy. I laughed hysterically. My friends were all around me, and we were just like, to feel that way about my own performance was like very rare and very nice. And I felt like I had earned that giggle because I just, not only was I present and had fun, but I was incredibly like proud of the choices that I had made and that he chose the right ones.
I love that answer.
He took me on a journey of my own making, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm an actor. I can do that.
What a wonderful experience to have. I
Thanks.
love that. I love you and your work.
Thanks.
Keeping me on my toes.
I will.
The variety in your
It's so
filmography,
crazy.
I'm going to keep following you to everything
Thanks.
because like you stimulate me and fill me up as a story lover. So congratulations on
Thanks.
everything
I
you've
know,
accomplished.
it's as long as the opportunities are, sometimes I have to work hard at getting them, but sometimes it's like all the good ones get given away, and you're like, you just have to find these things, and sometimes they just get given to you. It's just like you never know. But I do have more opportunities than I used to have, and damn straight, it makes me happy.
I love it. You deserve it. I'm gonna say congrats on everything
Thanks.
you've
Do you want a
accomplished.
cupcake?
Oh my! Sure.
We have the
So-
open ones, but I'll give you one
So
more thing.
I'll also say thank you for taking the time out of your birthday to be on Collider
Hey,
Ladies Night. Happy birthday.
thank
and
you.
Congratulations on
It's
both
nice
films.
to work on your birthday because people give you nice things and they do nice things for you all day.